Good morning. U.S. President Barack Obama announces that full diplomatic relations with Cuba will be restored for the first time in more than half a century. Korea is keeping an eye on the Russian situation as its falling currency and fiscal insecurity threatens global financial markets. Pamper yourself if you have the finances. Get a look at the exclusive Cheongdam-dong salons and spas. And tourist hotspots in Busan during the Korea-ASEAN Summit. Joey Mercadante has that for us on Korea Today, Thursday, December 18th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Hello and welcome to our Thursday edition of Korea Today. I'm Ju with Kim Min-jung and Kim Yang.
Good morning, everyone. So the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism conducted a survey on some 10,000 Koreans over the age of 15 to find out how they spend their leisure time after work, and the results are quite interesting.
You know, I'm not really surprised. Some 50% of the respondents said that they spend their free time or leisure time watching TV, as some of you might be doing just right now at this very moment. Number 2 on the list was internet surfing, which is the second most popular way to spend your free time.
That's right.
But I wonder why taking a nap didn't make it to the top 5, because I usually take a nap when I have free time.
Oh, that's our favorite pastime.
Right. Ever since we joined this early morning shift,
that's
especially.
Right.
Yeah, napping is a necessity these days, right,
that's
for
right.
us.
Well, it's hard to blame people for being couch potatoes these days because it's so cold outside, right? And that frosty weather condition is our top story this morning. It seems like the entire country is under a freezing spell. The eastern mountainous Gangwon-do province saw temperatures plunge to as low as minus 23 degrees Celsius on Wednesday morning. Cheongdam-dong province has seen 33 centimeters of snow in some parts, which caused some major traffic chaos and forced more than 120 elementary and middle schools to close for the day. Nearly 100 passenger ferries were canceled at major ports along the southern coast, including Mokpo, Yeosu, and Wando due to a strong wind advisory. The biting weather conditions pushed the electricity usage to an all-time high of over 80 million kilowatts at one point yesterday. And today we'll see much of the same frigid conditions, with temperatures dropping to as low as minus 15 degrees Celsius in Seoul with the wind chill factor. And amid controversy surrounding the Lotte World Mall, the high-rise shopping complex located in southeastern Seoul, Lotte Group has apologized for causing safety concerns and for the recent death of a construction worker. The CEO of Lotte Corporation said at a news conference Wednesday that the group is sorry for the loss of life and that it will conduct a safety inspection on suspended facilities, including the aquarium and the movie theaters. The apology came a day after the construction worker fell to his death at the construction site of Lotte World Mall, which had aimed to become the tallest building in the country when completed. Retail giant Lotte has been facing a flurry of safety concerns, including allegations of causing sinkholes even before its opening of the lower floors in October.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers now. You did hear about this earlier. Oil prices have entered the sharpest decline since the 2008 financial crisis, and countering prospects such a plunge in the price of oil isn't simply good news for non-oil producing nations. Let's see what this is about on our first daily 조선일보. And this one here, the headline says inverse oil shock. So the paper notes that the falling oil price carries a downside even for non-oil producing countries, causing emerging economies' currency values to collapse. There are also fears of a magnifying foreign exchange crisis impacting economies worldwide. Now, both non-producers and producers of oil, as well as various economies, are feeling the pressure of the nosediving oil price. And this is a counter or inverse oil shock because it's quite the opposite phenomenon from the past, where a rise in oil prices strike a heavy blow on world economies. Meanwhile, over on 중앙일보, the real estate market here in Korea isn't doing very good either. The headline says real estate market turned on its head again. Politics is the problem. So a number of market boosting measures were announced on September 1st by Finance Minister Cheongdam-dong that are supposed to pass the National Assembly by next year. The policies are aimed at reviving the stagnant domestic real estate market by removing barriers and relaxing complicated rules. However, if you take a look at these sub-headlines, they say not so many days are left until the year's end, and the measures are still just being deliberated on. It's been already 302 days of debate without any key decisions having been made at the parliament. The property market has been showing signs of slowing down again, while observers continue to say that it is important not to miss this golden time for reviving the economy. Now going over to this image on Gyeongyang Shinmun here. The title of the picture is President Park and Virtual Reality. So here she is trying out some high-tech gear during a visit to a Creative Economy Innovation Center in Gumi of Gyeongsang-buk-do Province. She yesterday called for boosting the industrial sector through the development of new products with modern technology such as the Internet of Things and big data. Moving on to this headline here on the left. This title says, Rush to Decide Fate of Unified Progressive Party. Now, towards the end of last month, I mentioned that the government and a left-leaning minor opposition party clashed over a petition calling for the disbandment of the party during their final arguments at a court hearing. Now, the hearing came more than a year after the Ministry of Justice filed the petition with the Constitutional Court to dissolve the Unified Progressive Party, citing the arrest of some UPP members on conspiracy charges. Now, tomorrow will be the day that the decision is made on whether or not this party will be disbanded, although there is controversy over the fact that such a declaration date is too soon, considering the magnitude of this matter. And finally, we'll go to the Mail Business newspaper for the side headline regarding public institutions here in Korea. And the article is called Government to Elevate Dividend Payout Ratios of Public Firms to OECD Level. And looking at this bold subheadline, the Korean government is seeking to lift the dividend payout ratios of state-run agencies by an average of 20 percentage points to the levels of those in the OECD countries. The National Pension Service will also proactively notify brokerages and investment companies of dividend criteria, which will be finalized by February next year, aiming at inducing companies to pay more dividends. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Thursday. And following are the stock numbers from Wednesday.
South Korea enjoyed great military support from its allies in the United Nations during and after the Korean War, and in the decades since, the nation has been returning the favor. South Korea's peacekeeping operations have been expanding greatly over the years, and for a closer look, we're now joined by Arirang News' Hyun-bin here in the studio. Good morning, Hyun-bin.
Good morning, Jinju. Korea is not part of the peacemaking operations, but they're quite involved in the peacekeeping operations, also known as PKOs. Now, let's take a look at the map. There are currently some 1,400 Korean men and women in uniform deployed in 15 countries worldwide. Now, for those who are not familiar, the main role of PKOs is to maintain ceasefires, enhance public security, provide humanitarian aid, and take over rehabilitation projects such as rebuilding schools, roads, and airports. And that brings the question, how did Korea become so active in the international efforts to maintain peace and stability? Let's check it out. This year marks the 50th anniversary since Korea's first overseas deployment. More than 320,000 Korean troops were dispatched to Vietnam, the second largest number behind the United States. 5,000 Korean soldiers were killed and over 12,000 were injured before the country pulled out in the spring of 1973. The after effects of the Vietnam War made Korea think twice before deploying another unit overseas. It wasn't until 20 years later that Korea became a member of the UN peacekeeping forces, increasing its involvement in international efforts to maintain peace and stability. So far, Korea has deployed over 360,000 troops in 17 countries, including Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and East Timor. Why is Korea so actively involved in peacekeeping operations?
Korea was built by the dedication and sacrifice of many different countries. Now we're a politically and economically respected country, and there are expectations both from inside and from abroad. A good example of repaying to our friends is the deployment to the Philippines. Philippines was a country that fought side by side during the Korean War.
There are two types of PKOs that Korea takes part in. There are the UN peacekeeping forces and the multinational forces. Both are mandated by the UN, but the biggest difference between the two is that UN peacekeeping forces are fully sponsored by the UN, while the multinational forces are funded by each participating country.
PKOs are not just military operations. They're about military diplomacy, security, cultural and resource diplomacy. It also forges strong ties with the host country. It's also a give and take relationship. By taking part in PKOs, Korea can ask for help when it needs it. In this way, being part of these operations is kind of like insurance.
Korea has been praised and welcomed in every place they have been dispatched in the world. Korean troops involve themselves in a wide array of activities apart from their peacekeeping activities, even promoting Korean culture to people.
We were praised by the Afghan people for our civil military operations. We were viewed as a role model for the 40 countries that are deployed here because of our services.
Earlier this month, Korea's National Assembly approved a bill that enables the military to expand its overseas deployment for a wider range of missions. Before the bill, the UN Peacekeeping Operations Participation Act was the only law that governed the overseas deployment of Korean troops. Under the new law, Korea will not only be allowed to deploy troops for PKOs approved by the UN Security Council, but also at the request of the UN, coalition forces, and a host country. After the bill, Korea will be allowed to deploy up to 1,000 troops overseas without the approval from the National Assembly. Now, this is likely to speed up the deployment process. Now, on top of this, the Defense Ministry plans to set aside a couple hundred troops on standby to promptly respond to PKO requests.
So the bill has opened doors for Korean troops to further contribute to global peacekeeping efforts. And Hyun-bin, I heard that there were some issues that still remain.
Yes, there are. We've seen some before. For example, when the South Korean government announced plans to deploy troops to Iraq and Afghanistan, they met some objections from the public and some lawmakers as they didn't want to get sucked in to another country's war and deal with the financial issues. Well, I talked to a Defense Ministry official, and here's what he has to say.
Yes, I just hope that the public will recognize what our men and women are doing abroad. They're doing absolutely fantastic job. They're praised by the United Nations and the host nations and the coalition command. I just hope that people will recognize their dedication.
Well, experts say the most recognized international activity is partaking in the PKOs, and by doing so, it's a great means to enhance one country's global status.
So more recognition and appreciation for these peacekeeping troops will be needed. All right, Hyun-bin, thank you for that report this morning.
All right, thank you, Chinju and Hyun-bin, for that. Time now to get a check on the weather.
All right, so we've been talking about this freezing cold snap, and it's not just lingering, it's just staying with us at the moment, and it is cold.
Oh, it is cold.
In the morning,
yesterday,
right?
I felt like my ears are going to fall off.
Yep, and we do watch TV most of the time, staying indoors, visiting some of the jjimjibangs out there, or the hot Korean-style saunas. For more on today's weather and what we can expect tomorrow, we'll go to Chun Sung-cho, who's joining us from the freezing cold herself. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sung-cho.
Good morning, guys. I'm reporting live from Hangang Park in Yeouido. A freezing cold snap is lingering around since yesterday, making our morning temperatures dip to well below freezing at negative 12.6 degrees Celsius here in Seoul right now. Fortunately, though, the winds seem to have died down a bit. They're a little bit weaker today, but this frigid air is still making my cheeks feel numb and turn rosy. It is the coldest it's ever been this season, and cold wave advisories and warnings have stretched out to more than 2/3 of the country. From the upper part of the central regions down to Gyeongsang-buk-do province, the conditions are more severe, with mercury levels almost reaching as low as negative 20 degrees Celsius, such as in Cheolwon and Daegwallyeong of Gangwon-do province. Starting tomorrow afternoon, a slightly warmer stretch of weather is in store for us, but we're also looking at another round of nationwide snowfall tomorrow. And this time, it is going to be concentrated around the western central regions, and up to 10 centimeters is predicted. So maybe it's a good idea to go skiing or snowboarding even for the weekend. And with that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings around the nation. Seoul will remain freezing at negative 2 degrees Celsius. And things are a little bit warmer over in the southern regions, with midday highs in Jeju hovering around 5. Dry conditions persist all along the east coast and in the majority of Gyeongsang-buk-do province. And this is all for me with the weather forecast around the nation. Minjung, back to you.
In a historic shift, the U.S. has announced it is reestablishing diplomatic and economic ties with Cuba after 50 years of icy relations. So we'll get an update on this situation with our Eunice Kim, who joins us at the News Center. Good morning to you, Eunice.
Good morning.
Now, this development came completely out of the blue. Tell us what this means for the U.S.-Cuba relations.
Well, Minjung, just like you said, it has been 50 years, in fact, more than 50 years since hostilities have kept the two neighboring nations world apart, particularly since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, which you'll remember had brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. Now, let's go ahead and begin with that announcement by the President of the United States.
Going forward, the United States will reestablish an embassy in Havana, and high-ranking officials will visit Cuba. Where we can advance shared interests, we will, on issues like health, migration, counterterrorism, drug trafficking, and disaster response.
A prisoner-swapped agreement is what sparked this major development. American contractor Alan Gross, who has been held by Havana since 2009, was very recently released by the Cuban government, marking the start of the landmark deal. Now, President Barack Obama also had his first contact with the Cuban leader on Tuesday in an hour-long phone call with Cuban President Raul Castro. Now, President Obama also said he would also ask Congress to lift the trade embargo in place since the 60s on the communist island located just 140 kilometers south of Florida.
And that embargo has cost both sides lots of revenue in lost trade over the years. So certainly welcome news for those who have been lobbying for this very development.
That's right.
But it has to be said that this has really taken everyone by surprise. Who brokered this deal? Who was involved?
Well, it is being said it's the result of more than a year of secret talks in Canada and the Vatican. And the Pope himself is said to have been involved in getting this deal through. In fact, Pope Francis did extend his congratulations to the U.S. and Cuba, saying that the Vatican stands ready to support their strengthening relations. There is still lots of work ahead, though. President Obama said Havana does need to make changes, including economic reforms and human rights improvements. He is also expected to face some resistance from U.S. lawmakers, Republican Senator Marco Rubio being one of them. He's a Cuban American representing Florida. He expressed that he would try to block the plan.
Now, before we let you go, let's talk about the reaction to the thread on that movie, The Interview by Sony Pictures, which centers around the plot to assassinate the North Korean leader. And a major movie premiere has been canceled due to these threats. What more can you tell us?
That's right. The premiere in Los Angeles has been held, but the New York premiere of the interview has been canceled without further notice on whether it would be rescheduled. This after the group that hacked into the computer systems of Sony Pictures, calling themselves Guardians of Peace, had threatened to physically attack movie theaters showing this movie. Now, a message posted on Tuesday said, in part, quote, "We will clearly show the bitter fate of those who seek fun and terror should be doomed to." The comedy is set to hit screens in the U.S. on Christmas Day, but this is also apparently being pulled from major movie theater chains in the U.S. like AMC and Regal, according to reports. All of this despite the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's view that the latest threats are not credible and the FBI investigation is continuing, Minjung.
Right, and the Guardians of Peace, and is North Korea involved, are some of the questions that will have to be answered.
Right, absolutely.
All right, thank you, Eunice.
Sure thing.
Stay tuned. We will take you to the neighborhood of Cheongdam-dong, the place to see and to be seen, luxurious private beauty salons. We'll offer you the best quality treatment, and that's what we have in store for you on K-Style, so don't go away.
When you're thinking of an auction, you can think of auctioning off cars and paintings, fine art. That seems to come to mind. But our Lee Min-hee joins us with an auction with a different twist on the auctioning part. Good morning.
Good morning. Right. So from pictures to maps, with particular focus on handwritten text and very rare books, all of these have been gathered for this particular auction, and they play a huge role in Korea's history. So I took a behind-the-scenes look, and now so can you. Take a look at this next report.
But how do you put a price tag on history? Here, the prize items go to the highest bidder. But these items aren't your run-of-the-mill antiques. Before they hit the auction block, the items are put on exhibition, where each one can be marveled at, from cover to cover. From ancient Korean texts to modern paintings. Some artifacts date all the way back to the Joseon dynasty, but all holds priceless value to Korea's history. And regardless of destination, for now it holds a special place where it can catch the eye of spectators and collectors alike.
Collectors will follow the goods, wherever, whenever. So here we're offering 232 different types of works, and overall 495 pieces. Together they are worth around 1.5 billion won, or 1.4 million US dollars. And because these items are so important to Korea's history, we believe it belongs to the people of Korea.
With so many aged artifacts, some are bound to be historical firsts, such as the first Korean English dictionary, which was compiled during the late 19th and early 20th century by J.S. Gale. And a legendary figure in Korea's history, Choi Seung-hee is considered the first leading Korean modern dancer. She paved the roads for many, and an original copy of the first autobiography is just one amongst the treasures. Artist Elizabeth Keith also captured some of Korea's most beautiful moments in her famous watercolor and waterblock printed works. Now highly revered, some of her original prints, including the hand-colored, make up a part of this exhibition, showing a detailed glimpse into the everyday lives of Korean families, as well as other inhabitants living in a very peaceful country. Amongst the rare books and drawings are also photos and maps, pieces of a cultural heritage that should belong behind museum doors, such as the Cheongdam-dong, a series of texts written by Korea's former King Cheongjo, starting at a bid of almost $500,000 US.
In the history of this world, there isn't a single king who's written over 100 books, except King Cheongjo of the Joseon dynasty. He wrote many book series, and amongst them is this series given to his confidant, Yoon-heng-im. From cover to cover, it was made with the best supplies, from the best paper to the best handwriting, and even the very best stamps. You can consider this work a masterpiece of art in itself.
Whether it sells at $3,000 or $300,000, each page, each bound book represents thousands of years of a culture, of a people of Korea. And though it's not your everyday art auction, each item here can be considered a work of art, a one-of-a-kind that has withstood the test of time and must be preserved for the years to come.
So it's the Hwabong offline auction which goes, and they do actually display the art as in an exhibition form. You can watch it, and then the items do go up for auction, and some of them are hundreds of years old. Some of them dating back to the Joseon dynasty, as you mentioned in the report. But my question is, where do you find these items? How do they come into making its way into the auction?
So the president and the director of the auction, he actually told me that he personally goes and collects many of these items, whether it be online, through other auctions. But he also says he finds quite a few either in what other people would call trash, rubbish. He said he found one actually along Cheongdam-dong stream, which is really interesting.
Goodness.
Right. So he said that he actually used to wear white shirts, but he stopped wearing them because he was always looking for items, and he's always getting his white shirts dirty, rummaging through things and finding these very precious relics that, other people would overlook.
Okay, so maybe digging in the trash isn't so bad after all. It could be a very profitable, not profitable, recovering some of these lost art pieces and books there. Now, also the other question is that, of course, I see a lot of items that I might actually want, but they're very expensive. Who are the people that buy these?
About that. So with that, the customers are usually either other museum owners or other private art collectors. But really, these items, they're so rare, and they're so unique, and they're so exquisite to our country and special that they really develop kind of like a fan club. So people are very excited to get their hands on these, and they're willing to pick up the very expensive price tag. But with the prices, of course, you have to consider how old they are and how valuable they are. So of course, they're going to be expensive. But the director was telling me that the price on that kind of validates the precious aspect of the item, and it makes it something that will be preserved for the future. So, something that's worth a lot of money, people are going to pay more attention to and be more careful with.
Well, to be honest with you, the older the piece, the more priceless I think it is, because of the fact that you are holding on to a piece of history there. All right, Yuni, thank you very much for this report.
Always a pleasure.
Still ahead on Korea Today, we're going to take you to the port city of Busan today. There was a very big summit that was held there. It was the Korea-ASEAN Summit, and there are some hotspots, tourist hotspots that were offered to the public that were there, as well as visitors. And Joey Mercadante is going to take a visit to that area. Now, Busan was above last week with the 2014 Korea-ASEAN Commemorative Summit, and the port city's tourist attractions got a good dose of attention as well. So Korea Discovered will take you to some of these spots that were in the limelight.
Yeah, it's a season for year-end awards, and one of Korea's major film awards was held last night.
That's right. Lots of stars walking down the red carpet yesterday for the annual Cheongdam-dong, or the Blue Dragon Film Awards. And for more on who were some of the winners of this prestigious award, Seoul joins us in the studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Yes, so the 35th Blue Dragon Awards was held last night in downtown Seoul. So let's see who the grand prize winners were. The best film went to 변호인, or The Attorney, a courtroom drama based on a real-life incident under the Cheondu-dong regime some 30 years ago. The blockbuster hit also took 2 more awards: Best Actor Award for Song Kang-ho, who plays the titular attorney, and Best Supporting Actress Award for Kim Young-ae, who plays the mother of Song's client. And of course, we can't forget the Lady of the Night. The Best Actress Award went to Chun Woo-hee for her role as a high school student in the coming-of-age story Han Gong-ju.
It was was a big surprise that she won the Best Actress awards because the other nominated actresses that she was competing with were much more famous.
Exactly,
than her.
and more established.
She is.
So the relatively little-known actress won over heavyweights such as Kim Hee-ae, Jeon Do-yeon, Son Ye-jin. And she's been, although she is a relatively new face, she's been receiving a lot of critical acclaim for her portrayal as a friend to a rape victim in the film.
Is it just me, or does she look a little bit like our very own Yoon-hee?
She did Yoon-hee. I was actually thinking that yesterday. Could pass as her cousin. Now, apart from Blue Awards, Blue Dragon Awards, the other major trending news right now is a touching story about how a mother got her purse back. So last weekend, a 62-year-old lady took a taxi in Seoul, but left her purse behind. And inside the purse was around $6,000 in cash, which were gift money from her daughter's recent wedding. So as soon as she realized that she left it behind, she called the police. The police then sent out a broadcast on a traffic radio station that a lot of the taxi drivers listen to. The drivers spread the news amongst themselves until it reached the driver of the cab in question, who then looked around in his cab and then returned the purse to the owner. All of this in less than 1.5 hours.
Wow. It's really kind of the drivers because they could have really split the money, kept the money and split it in
a very warming story in this winter season.
And it's good to know that, you know, people are still very honest and willing to help each other out. Now, as we mentioned in our opening, the Culture Ministry asked over 10,000 adults over the age of 15 about their leisure time. And according to the results, Koreans averaged around 3.5 hours per day of free time during the weekdays and 6 hours per day during the weekends. Now, this is a breakdown of how they spent those precious hours. So first, as we mentioned, is watching TV, followed by computers, so internet, SNS, surfing, games, and so on, followed by exercise, listening to music, and talking to friends. And in the others, there was, as your favorite activity, taking a nap.
Sleeping.
And wrapping up, Korean kite enthusiasts have located 20 or so kites dating back to the Joseon dynasty and have released their pictures for the first time. Now, all of these belong to the Joseon dynasty, and they are now all in the States, but they all have a varied history. So most of them belong to a French consul who either received it as a gift or purchased it from Koreans more than 120 years ago. Now, the kites were passed down as an heirloom before being donated to the French Kite Association, then recently to the US Seattle Kite Association. The Bangpyeong kites are notable for their distinctive design, and in the Joseon dynasty, they were used by Admiral Lee Sun-shin to give signals to his navy.
How do you fly a kite that is decades old? You know, what if it gets lost in the wind?
Not. You would probably store it, in a delicate box. But because of their historical value, the Korean Kite Association is trying to bring them back to Korea.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Misorang, for that.
You're welcome.
And a good Thursday morning to you all as we kick things off with Gallup Korea's latest survey results for this year's top athlete, as 1,703 people around the nation ages 13 and up voted for 4 weeks, starting on October 29th to November 25th. And of course, receiving a total of 42% of the votes, rhythmic gymnast Son Yeon-jae was named the top athlete of the year in the survey for the second time since 2012. Now, during the Incheon Asian Games, she won Korea's first gold medal in rhythmic gymnastics, capping an incredible season she had in 2014. Meanwhile, figure skater Kim Yeon-ah came in second in the survey, followed by LA Dodgers pitcher Lee Hyun-bin. And now moving over to the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Games, this time where despite the ongoing issues with Pyeongchang, the Korea Olympic Committee remained positive, especially when it comes to their results in 2018. Now, Korea had their best results back in 2010 during the Vancouver Winter Games, where they finished 5th in overall medal standings. But they plan to surpass that during the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Games, as the Korea Olympic Committee stated that their goal is finishing with 20 gold medals for a 4th place finish in the overall medal count. Now, confidence is high as they expect a 15.8 billion won, or roughly $14.4 million budget for next year in their Pyeongchang project. And now shifting over to artistic gymnastics, where the god of vault Yang Ak-sun signed a 2-year deal to be part of the Suwon City Hall team on Wednesday. Despite several teams around the nation trying to sign the London gold medalist, Yang Ak-sun chose Suwon City Hall as his team, signing a 2-year deal on Wednesday worth 400 million won, or roughly $364,000. Now happy to be a part of the Suwon City Hall team, he's set to make his debut with the team in April of next year. And now finishing things off in football, where the Korea Football Association announced on Wednesday that the national football team will face Saudi Arabia before kicking off their Asian Cup in Australia. Now with manager Lee Stilke and crew needing all the preparations they can get, they'll be facing off against Saudi Arabia on January 4th in Sydney, Australia, right before the Asian Cup kicks off. Now, Saudi Arabia has won the Asian Cup 3 times and finished runner-up 3 times as well, as the nation has a slightly better record against Korea with 5 wins, 7 draws, and 4 losses. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
I guess a lot of you have year-end parties and gatherings lined up for the next couple of weeks or so, and that's the times when you really want to look special and a little more glamorous.
Of course, right? You have to be the star of the night, the queen of the night.
Right, right. And there are some total beauty shops that can help you do just this. And our Lee So-yun went to a couple of those places, and she joins us to tell us more. Good morning, So-yun.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So the place today that I want to introduce is Cheongdam-dong. And as you guys all know, Cheongdam-dong is already so famous, and it's one of the hottest spots in Korea for beauty and style. So I visited 3 different places in Cheongdam-dong to see how the Cheongdam-dong magic works. So let's see the video first.
Considered one of Seoul's #1 go-tos when it comes to beauty salons, spas, and services, Cheongdam-dong. For a taste of Hallyu beauty, this is where you want to go. Many of Korea's A-list celebrities get beautiful at Cheongdam-dong salons as well, and is famous for top hairstylists like Cha-hong, Lee Kyung-min, and Jung Se-mul.
This is the street where all our Korean celebrities come to do their hair and makeup done. I'm already so excited to see what's going to happen inside, so let's come and see.
This boutique is considered a premium beauty salon in the Cheongdam area. It has a subdued luxury feel to it, with a modern chic interior design. It's quite well known, and customers love it for the privacy provided in the hair and makeup zone. Celebrities drop by often to get beautifully made up for photo shoots, whether it's for their wedding album or for magazine layouts. If you don't know what kind of look that you'd like, there's no need to worry. Customers are given a lookbook of celebrity styles designed by the stylists here.
오늘은 좀 어려 보이면서 사랑스럽게 박신혜 씨 메이크업으로 제가 진행해 드릴게요.
So the special thing about this place is that you can choose your own stylist so that you can get the same hairstyle or makeup of a celebrity.
A soft, natural look with just a touch of feminine allure. The stylist gave me Park Shin-hye's soft, dewy complexion with a bit of color for the lips and wavy locks. It was a fresh, natural look without going overboard. The next Cheongdam beauty shop was at one of the neighborhood's biggest inside. This is a one-stop total care shop that had a little bit of everything a woman may want for her beauty ritual.
So this is a place that has a different atmosphere with the place we went before. This place, you can not only get your hair and your makeup done, but also you can get full services.
Spa treatments, aesthetic programs like special facials, heat saunas, mani and pedis, hair and makeup salon. These are just some of the 8 services provided here.
It's nice and convenient that I can do everything in one place. It saves time and I don't have to keep moving to different places. I'm the happiest when I come here, I think.
This Total Care shop is particularly famous because of their medical programs. They provide gynecological services and dermatological treatments. Customers can get advice from these medical professionals on the different spa programs on site.
봤을 때 표면을 이렇게 볼 수가 있는데 이제 있어요. 그래서 올라가셔서 스파 프로그램이랑 같이 연계해서 받으시면 되겠습니다.
That's what makes this beauty shop special. You can get medical shots full of the nutrients while you need, while getting spa treatment. Beauty care inside and out.
Really relaxing, and I really want to sleep now.
Cheongdam is great for those aesthetic fixes that everyone needs once in a while. Services that help you look your best and what everyone loves. Quick, visible results. Another Cheongdam-dong hotspot is this aesthetic shop or beauty spa. As you can see, the celebrities love it.
As you can see, Beauty Boulevard is already so famous for all these celebrities and also people at Cheongdam. And it's also introduced so many times in magazines and newspapers in Japan and China.
A popular service that the celebrities adore, this face program. They give you a mask with enzymes that break down the dead cells on your skin, letting your skin breathe. The program includes face slimming and elasticity massage and minimizes the appearance of your pores. The second most popular service is the slower body program. This program is supposed to show instant results. Even after one session, you may be able to see a 2 or 3 centimeters reduction. Many stars swear by it, making it a last-minute priority before stepping into the spotlight.
I'm getting this leg massage right now, and it's pretty painful. I mean, it's very painful, but I am enduring this to have pretty legs.
It was a lovely experience going around 3 different places, from hair and makeup until whole body massage. And it was a great experience, amazing experience, and I would love to come here again.
So all nice and pampered from head to toe.
Yeah.
How
very
was it?
nice experience, and I would really love to go one day. It's just a bit expensive. Yes,
I would imagine.
Yeah, and you would really feel like a celebrity yourself, like getting all the makeup and hair done by the stylists that are actually in charge of the stars.
That's true, and the interesting thing is that the workers, I mean the shop, they open according to the celebrities' schedule. So they can open like early in the morning, and sometimes they even work
Around
even after
clock.
midnight. Yeah.
I see. And you've brought with you some of the products.
So these are some of the products that I brought, some of the products that were used on me, and some of the products that you might see if you go to Cheongdam Salons. So these are the nail care products, and these are the facial lifting products, and these are the body products and body scrub.
Or a body scrub for your buddy there, right?
Can we see that pink jar? Interesting looking. Anyway, go ahead and ask your
Twisted and then
sugar scrub.
All right.
Interesting.
Okay, well, these are the sugar scrubs that probably cost an arm and a leg, but regardless, we were watching some of the clinics there. And what's amazing is that you have like the full body care system. You have the hair salon, you have the facial center, you have the body clinic, as well as a medical clinic that's all wrapped into one. I guess you ladies really have it well, right? It's like a barbershop with a cardiologist in there, right? But regardless, it must be a little bit pricey. I mean, it has to cost a lot, right?
Definitely. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, it is very expensive. I think you'll have to pay almost like twice more than what we usually pay at normal ordinary salons. But I think it is still worth paying the money though. So because it's very nice experience, and
it's pampering.
Yes, it is actually.
Really? But can men go too? I think so. It's not reserved for women only. Men can go there and get pampered.
Well, next report, I'm going to go over there and get Get that full body massage from head to toe at 3 different clinics.
I saw men actually.
Oh, you saw men also. Okay, all right. Great piece of information there. Thank you so much for covering this story for us.
No
Thank you.
Thank you.
So last week, the 2014 Korea-ASEAN Summit was held, and some of the participants actually got a treat because there was a tour package that was being offered to many of them. And Joey Mercadante joins us with his trip to Busan, and he was also a part of this package, but not a part of the ASEAN.
You're not quite the leader. You're not part of the summit.
Yeah, that's true. And to be honest, I really just headed down to Busan because I wanted to escape the cold weather in Seoul, which didn't really work out because it wasn't really cold there. It wasn't really that much warmer. But you know, that being said, I had a lot of fun. I met some really great new friends from Southeast Asia, and we met as we toured along together through Busan on a tour that was being held during the ASEAN Summit, and we had a lot of fun, so that's what I'm here to show you today. Why don't we take a look?
Check it out.
Busan Metropolitan City, located at the southeast tip of Korea. It's the country's second largest city and a major port for international trade. Not too long ago, Busan hosted the 2014 Korea-ASEAN Commemorative Summit, during which tourism programs were offered to all summit participants.
Good morning from Busan. This has attracted thousands of tourists from around the world and Eastern Asia. So today I'm going to show you why Busan has attracted the attention of the world and what there is to do once you get here.
One of the tourism programs for the summit participants was the city tour. Free of charge, of course.
We will see some Busan, some very attractive courses, and then some programs are very exciting.
Tour guide. We're part of the exhibitors for the ASEAN-ROK Korea exhibition. Last night, we just went to the night market and the tower, but today we're going to a lot more places. So we're very excited. We're very glad that we're part of this tour.
We started the tour at Kamcheon Culture Village and its small pastel houses. The history of Kamcheon Village dates back to the Korean War, when refugees and poverty-stricken began gathering in the area and building shanties along the mountain slope.
Do not block the paths. Do not block the paths. So that's why the scholars are interconnected. Yeah. There are no dead ends. There are no dead ends.
You thought you would have a good view.
Yes.
Wow, look how clear this guy is. The scene is just
It was absolutely gorgeous.
Like BFFs now.
Very.
Oh, I never thought of that, like little Lego blocks.
Yeah, little Lego houses. Tour guide told us that this used to be a refugee village.
Yeah.
But now, just after 4 or 5 years, it has now risen to this. Amazing, very impressive.
Walking through the maze of narrow alleys, you can see a great variety of artwork, unique, fun murals, and installations that visitors love to take photos with. Busan is a beautiful port city that is famous for its seafood and a tasty treat that is made from fish and flour, omuk, known as fish cakes in English.
Yummy. I have some of those frozen in my freezer right now.
This exhibit hall is actually more like a cafe run by the oldest omuk making company in Busan, Samjin Omuk. They have over 70 different types of handmade omuk.
Place the hairnet over your entire head and you look. How do I look? Okay?
It's like you just came out of the shower.
A very novel type of omuk was on the menu today, omuk pizza. We got to make it ourselves, and instead of the regular dough for the pizza, we used omuk. And for the toppings, well, anything we wanted.
You're becoming a master of these pizzas using Korean ingredients.
All right, the finishing touches have been placed on my work of art. It's a heart with a face that sort of looks like a transformer, I'm not really sure. But no matter what, it's gonna be delicious, I promise you. And now I'm ready to eat it. The omuk pizzas baked in the oven, and none of us could take our eyes off of them.
and you get to take them home.
If you don't eat it.
It's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Delicious?
You want to try mine?
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Next, we went to Busan's Gukjae Market, a shopping and food lovers' paradise. I couldn't begin to list everything at the Gukjae Market. All sorts of delicious Busan specialties on one side. And if you turn your head, antiques, traditional craftware, alongside modern products, and of course, living up to its name, Gukjae, meaning international, they had imported goods as well.
I love Korea.
So you're
so
getting
I let
for your
my daughter to wear. So the whole family wear the same shirt.
the couple look.
Yeah.
The last leg of our Busan tour took us to Hwangbong-no Street, Busan's fashion avenue and a popular hangout for younger generations. The street was lit up with holiday spirit, thanks to the Christmas Tree Festival.
I like all the Christmas music, and I'm really impressed with all the lights. I think it might be better than the lights that I've seen in Seoul.
From the start of Hwangbong-no Street to the Gukjae Market intersection, it's about 1.2 kilometers, and that whole section was filled with 350,000 lights, plus a huge Christmas tree.
Wow. It's hard to get the whole tree in the picture. It's so big. It's beautiful.
But the highlight of the festival was the snow. Every night from 7 to 8, snow fell along the streets here. Even the biggest Scrooge wouldn't be able to stop the holiday spirit here. The lights, the snow, and the live music put a smile on everyone's face.
So same temperature in our hometown now. So we have a good feeling, we are in a good mood. Weekend is just on the middle, everything is fine.
Great.
We enjoy a lot, yeah.
What was bringing so many tourists here to Busan? And what were they doing while they were here? Well, I answered all of those questions and so much more. And I was reminded again how beautiful Busan is, especially during the Christmas season. You should come and check it out for yourself. Busan City.
The artificial snow at Hwangbong-no really adds to the holiday spirit with the Christmas trees all lit up over there.
Or you could have just gone to Gangwon-do province where there's a lot of snow, but still, yes.
Well, I agree with you, and it adds a romantic element as well. You know, it's no wonder why it's one of the most popular spots, anyways, for dating in Busan, and it's a popular spot, anyways. Over 6 million people visit there annually, and people really enjoy the Merry Christmas time. Now that's that 1 hour slot from 7 to 8 where the snow falls. And I think it's an extra nice treat for the people of Busan, seeing as they probably won't see a white Christmas. I've been looking at the forecast. They probably won't have a lot of snow there anyway. So it's a nice treat for them, I think.
Okay, so the tour package that you went on was a free package that was part of the 2014 ASEAN-ROK special summit. But Busan does offer a lot of different tour programs, right? What do visitors need to know? I mean, you have all the info.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little bit more information on what you can do. Like I'll give you more detailed information on some of the highlights that I experienced. For example, the fish markets, the Jagalji market in Busan, where you can see all kinds of fresh fish caught right off the waters there off the coast. You gotta try that seafood. And then we have the 120-year-old Gangtong market. It got its name because Gangtong means cans in Korea, and canned goods used to be sold here, but now they've got everything domestic and imported. And at 6:30, the night market opens. There's lots of food vendors selling Korean and international treats and all sorts of great stuff to experience there.
All right, it sounds like one of those places where you can just go and take a walk around, take the bus, and enjoy it to the fullest by taking in the sights.
Absolutely,
and see that crab, that was humongous.
Did you see that?
Did you get to eat that?
I didn't get to eat it, but it got to bite me. So.
All right, it ate you.
Yeah, it ate me.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
All right, well, this is where we say goodbye on this Thursday morning.
All right, have a wonderful cold Thursday. We'll see you back here on hopefully a warmer Friday morning at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.